And Brian is the president and CEO of Power Showcase. And just think Home Run Derby's here for the 13-year-olds. And Brian, thanks for joining us here. So give us a little background about what took place this weekend at Globe Life Park.
Well, you know, the Power Showcase event, and first of all, thanks for having me on this morning, guys. I appreciate it.
Got it.
The event's been around about 12 years, and a couple of years ago, I wanted to have the event evolve to where there was a national event and a central, a better location, as having everybody from the West Coast have to travel all the way to Miami for the World event. But what happened this past weekend is we had some of the top players from the ages of 10 years old to 15 years old. And it's a quicker version of what the World event is like in Miami, where you have a Major League Scout Day, which is run by the Major League organizations and some college coaches. And then there's a prestigious welcome dinner and jersey presentation ceremony later on that evening at the ballpark overlooking the field. And each player is brought up on stage, and they're presented with their jerseys. And what happens is we instead of placing the number on the back, we have the abbreviation for their state, or if they're coming into the World event, their country. And then on Saturday, they get a chance to do a Power Showcase Home Run Derby, which really ends up being a hitting video for the young players. I mean, not everybody's able to drive baseballs out of the ballpark or the certain distances that we set up per age group. So it ends up being a hitting video for these young players. And as you know, there's no better or more prosperous feeling than hitting in a major league stadium. And we have 7 HD cameras set up to kind of capture all of these different angles and all of those great moments. And then they get a chance to parlay all of this into participating in a game in a major league stadium, and names on the jumbotron and public address announcing and national anthem singers. And again, it's
pretty
an unbelievable opportunity
amazing
for these guys.
Oh yeah. So a couple of shots back here, Brian. We're running through some pictures and whatnot. The jersey you talked about had Harper, Nevada. Obviously, that was Bryce Harper, but you've had Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo. You've been doing this for 12 years. Take us through some of the big bats you've seen, and then we'll talk about Blaze Jordan in a second.
Well, it was really interesting as when we were all hearing about Bryce Harper when he was first coming up, and whenever there's someone like that, you always have your wide variety of naysayers, and it can get a little exhausting. But when I was at Tropicana Field and when Bryce went off and hit 12 home runs, and only I think he had there was 15 outs in that round, and he was at out number 12 and hadn't even hit a home run. And what was even more impressive is that he hit 6 home runs within 90 seconds, and the average exiting ball velocity was 120 miles an hour. That was when he hit the 502-foot home run, and you could really see right then and there. And this is kind of relates to Blaze Jordan. When players get into that kind of environment and they automatically hit a higher level of centered focus, and the talent just kind of takes over, and the swing and just everything looks a little more aggressive, a little more crisp. And when Harper hit the 502 against the Dome, that was kind of a vehicle and a catalyst, I think, to kind of launch a whole different wide variety of things.
Did you kind of think, we've arrived, we've arrived. Hey, tell us about Blaze Jordan, 13 years old. What's he, 6'2", I think you told me last night, about 215 pounds?
Yeah, Blaze been coming to the Power Showcase since he was an 11-year-old, and when he was 11, he hit one out of Globe Life Park at 385 feet. And then a month later, he went to the Miami event and then followed that up by hitting one out of Marlins Park. And then obviously last year, for the 10th anniversary, he hit one 461 feet. And I kind of just left that alone and said, man, that was really remarkable, and wasn't expecting to see what I saw, on Saturday night. I mean, again, when you have David Denson going 515 feet, or even Chris Bryant, I think, hit one 487 at Tropicana Field off the top of the restaurant in center field. These guys were seniors in high school or juniors in high school. Obviously, Harper was a special case at 16, but a 13-year-old, and to not just do it once, but to do it twice, and to do it with the ease that he has, was just remarkable.
Hey, last thing before we let you go, the bats. I'm sure people are sitting at home going, well, yeah, that bat must be corked, but that's not the case. Tell us what they're using and the restrictions of the bat.
Yeah, and this is, I'm glad you bring that up. And I'm going to just bounce really quickly here from college. As you guys know, when BB Core bats were implemented like 5 or 6 years ago, home runs plummeted. The College World Series, all through high school, everywhere. So people weren't really happy about run production being down. So after a couple of years, the NCAA, they implemented a brand new baseball. I think it's created out by Rawlings, where they went to something, where they flattened the seams out so the balls would be more aerodynamic, and home runs spiked in all of Major D1 about by 39% 2 years ago, and then they transitioned all those baseballs into all of college. Now, I also added a college division this year called the College Select, and some of these guys in a 50-game schedule had hit 25, 30, 32 home runs, and so the balls definitely affect a lot of things. So whether or not we allow the players to use an old BESR bat or whatever, and they're going to get 40 or 50 feet out of that, or a juiced or a better high performance baseball, it doesn't really matter. But to answer your question about Blaze Jordan, he's using a regular legal bat that these kids are allowed to swing at 12 or 13 years old. So again, it was just, if you take a look at the video and the swing, there's something very special there.
Oh, we'll
the
be
bat
hearing
speed's
from him.
Incredible. It speaks for itself.
No doubt about it. Hey, Brian, thank you so much. We appreciate it. The video's compelling. It's unbelievable. And continued success with what you're doing, too. It's awesome.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, and H, when Brian talks about the bats, I mean, my son's 16, is a junior right now. We're in the whole thing, club baseball, and thinking about playing in college. But, I mean, looking at that bat, I know exactly what that bat is that Blaze Jordan is using. And that is an Easton Mako. It's a BB Core, a drop 5. That is not like some juiced up bat. That kid is doing it with the bat that he uses when he plays. So,
that's real power. Hey, also now Major League Baseball, and you saw some video pop in earlier with the junior home run derby. Major League Baseball's taking it to another step as well, and you have an opportunity to really get involved from the Major League Baseball side with the junior home run derby, and you can sign up. We'll show you that in a little bit, but it's caught on. Everybody wants to hit home runs, right? And nationwide, all the teams hold this, and this is at the finals last year at the All-Star Game in San Diego. But here's a look at it with Stanton, and this is a total different branch of what we just got through talking to Brian about. But here's how you can sign up for Junior Home Run Derby. Major League Baseball sponsors and backs this one, and you can get all the information right there. Locally, find out where it can be done. And the Powerhouse stuff, look up on their website, and you can see that too. But a lot of great opportunities for kids. I think there's a whole subculture that we, as adults, glaze over, but that's where it's at. I mean, that's where kids are at right now.
It's not about necessarily town ball or travel ball. It's club teams and all these big tournaments. So definitely,
you're in it. Huh?
I'm in it, dude. I'm in it. But the Power Showcase, there's another one coming up in Miami, and it's an international deal. So I mean, it's kids from Germany, the Netherlands. I mean, Czech Republic. So a lot.
As long as kids are playing, they're getting involved.
Good stuff.
Great.